Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jabroni Drive. On this week's episode, HJW, Santos vs. Bray, the Street Profits, LA Knight and John Cena, Rhea Ripley, Gunther, Ciampa Gargano, Seth, Shinsuke, Judgment Day vs. Cody and Jay, the build to Fastlane. Timmy, anything you got to say to all the Schmid-Lavellites out there?
Well, as Mankind used to say, or Cactus Jack, or Dude Love, hope you all have a nice day.
I love it. Welcome to Jabroni Drive.
I still think my best one was the Ted DiBiase one.
That was incredible. That one's up there for me. And I really liked the Big Papa Pump.
Oh, yeah.
I got you hook up. Holla, if you hear me. And we got you hooked up to another episode of Jabroni Drive. Before we get going, we want to say thank you for listening. Please give us a follow, a share, subscribe. Tell your friends about the hottest growing professional wrestling show in all of professional wrestling shows. We got a lot to cover, so we're going to get right into it. Big news this week, Timmy. Edge to AEW. This past weekend on AEW, you had Christian over there. They were beating down some guy, and the next thing you know, boom, there's the video, this vignette shows, the cars going, the music hits, and out comes Edge. To, what was it, 6,000 fans, I believe?
Yeah.
Tim,
Yeah.
does he get immediate, like, what have I done? When he runs out to, like, his return at the Royal Rumble back in 2020 is probably the greatest Royal Rumble entrance of all time. The place blew off the roof in Houston, and this was good, a nice reaction, but, like, for going from that to, it's like, what am I doing?
No, strange things happening here in the wrestling world, because Adam Copeland, aka Edge, the rated R superstar, is a guy that's been synonymous with the WWE for 20 plus years, 25 years, however long it's been. I remember seeing him first when he came in as part of the Brood, the whole deal. Him and Edge were together, or him and Christian were together.
And
It's good to see
Gangrel.
that. Yeah, but it's good to see them two kind of back together. I don't know if they're forming but it's strange on how it's all happened, right? We witnessed his last match when he was all dressed up in his Toronto garb, right? And he wrestles Sheamus, and I think that's actually might be the last time we've seen Sheamus wrestle in a little while. But we saw them two wrestle, and that was going to be his final match, and they kind of left like a little bit of a cliffhanger. He hung around a little bit like after the match was over, and what it seems like is that the WWE had nothing for him, right? There's no angle for him, no storyline to fit him in, which is a shame, because he was in probably the biggest storyline that's still going right now, which is the whatchamacallits, the
Judgment Day.
The Judgment Day. He was the leader of that, and they kicked him out of it. So, I mean, they could have had him still wrapped up in that, and that's still going 2 years later. So, I just don't understand it. But, to go to AEW, I guess he still wants to wrestle. He still has the passion to wrestle, and that's fine. Like, there's always going to be another promotion for these wrestlers to go to. And we talked about that last episode about, if MJF leaves the AEW, will that be the end of that promotion? No, because it's always going to be around. There's always going to be something else.
Right.
But it just reminds me of how this company, it's very similar to what WCW was doing years ago when they kept collecting all the older wrestlers. And I think I commented to you, I said, they should stop. They shouldn't call it AEW. They should call it AARP, because
that was a good one.
I mean, dude, you got Sting down there still wrestling. He's 62 years old, right? And look, the WWE is guilty of doing that too. They've brought around, they had Ric Flair wrestling for years, right? And he was up in age, and bringing Hogan back and stuff like that. It's just, but I mean, Edge at this point in his career is just kind of like okay, like it doesn't really do
Right.
anything for me. It might give the AEW a boost, but I don't see any WWE fans leaving WWE programming to go watch Edge.
Yeah. I don't think they were necessarily, and this, you know what, this is not, we're not like trying to knock Edge. I just feel like this is the reality of the situation, is that I wasn't really too interested in tuning in for Edge on WWE. I'm not going to be so interested in tuning into Edge on AEW. Now, if there's a match with him and Christian, I'll kind of probably, keep an eye on it, see what happens, maybe watch the match, depending on the build. But it feels like WWE signs Jade Cargill, who's the best women's wrestler in AEW, and brings over a major talent to WWE, and they're signing Edge, who the WWE, like you said, really doesn't have anything for, and kind of has been stale, and I think was given opportunities because he is the name and he is a legend and he is a Hall of Famer. And I just, maybe this is like him and Christian just wanting to do something, and they were talking behind the scenes and they said, oh, we'd love to do some things together. You can come over here and do it. Maybe that's it. I just feel like, it's not really grabbing me. So I don't want to spend like too much time on it. I just feel like it's not the best move for Edge, to be honest. I feel like he should kind of retire, come back here and there with WWE, maybe in some sort of like not maybe managerial, but like running the show for a little bit, something like that.
Yeah, so I see. So there's the two guys that I think were a big deal that really built themselves up down in AEW after having a smaller role in WWE, is a guy like Adam Cole, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's really done, I think, a lot to build up what he is as a wrestler, his character. Would be a guy that I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a guy I would love to have back, right, in the WWE, or even the guy from the House of Black. What's his name?
Oh, like I'm drawing a blank on it right now. I'll think Aleister Black.
Yeah, Aleister Black. Like, he seems like he's built himself up down there too as well. But like, it's just, it doesn't appeal to me really all that much. And good luck to you. Hopefully, you have some success down there. But it's just like, I feel like the Edge just went to the minor leagues almost.
Yeah. And
After, like, you want to see a guy retire with the program, that has built him up, right? It's almost like watching Henry Aaron, like Hank Aaron, right? Finishing his career, with another team. Like, he was a Brave. He set the home run record, right? And then he goes and he's playing for the Expos. It's like, that's weird.
yeah, right. Yeah. So with them signing Adam Copeland and WWE getting Jade Cargill, I'd have to say that WWE gained the edge on that one.
Yeah.
How was that?
That's pretty good.
Was that good? But you know what? And this is a whole nother topic, but Adam Cole, I believe he went to AEW because he saw the writing on the wall when it came to WWE and their promotion, that he was not going to be in the championship. He was an NXT champion, but you're seeing, and we're going to get to these guys later. Maybe we get to it right now. You're seeing a guy like Tommaso Ciampa, who was an NXT champion, coming, and he's been lost in the sauce there and kind of not doing what he wanted. And I want to say Adam Cole maybe saw that was happening and went, hey, I'm going to go to this other organization where I'm going to be a championship contender. I don't know if Adam Cole would have jumped into a match with Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins right away,
No. And look, the talent disparity is immense, right? Between AEW and WWE, right? These are guys that are part of the independent scene, right? There's only a handful of guys that have wrestled in the WWE and have had success. So you're not getting the greatest competition. So, it's like, all right, I'm going to go play down here where I could actually win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shame, but again, I'm not trying to knock the promotion. I'm just saying that it's just not. It's not the big leagues. It's the minor leagues, and it's just you're playing down your competition, right? If you want to get better, stay with the WWE, work on your craft, and get better. Get better on the mic and build up your character, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Mike Schmidt went and played for, you know, the minor league, the Reading Phillies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like, come on, man, like you're a legend. But so we want AEW to do well, because if AEW does well, one, that's more content for us to watch and enjoy. Two, that will help that competition between WWE and AEW. All right, so this past week on SmackDown, a couple big matches. We finally got the United States Championship match between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. Timmy, I was pleasantly surprised with this match. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed the match, and the ending too, I thought, was an interesting kind of nugget or story that is being told here. Santos Escobar, the young wrestler that is looking to make his mark and finally do something, going against someone that he's looked up to his whole life in Rey Mysterio. This is his chance now in his eyes. This is where I'm going to step up, and now my career is going to take off. And Rey's had his run in his career, and Rey comes away with the win to a match that Santos, I would say, dominated majority of. And Rey finds a way to win like he does in his career, goes to shake his hand at the end, and there's a pause there, visibly upset. He had just lost his opportunity. He lost to Rey. I think he feels like he should have won Santos Escobar. Before you know it, in come the Street Profits and attack them. What'd you think of the match, the ending, and that kind of storytelling going on there?
yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic story. The protege, if you will, right, is in a situation where he's learned everything he can learn, right, and now he's going to take on his what's the word I'm looking for, the
His mentor, his
his
sensei.
mentor, sensei, yeah. And it's a classic story. It's been told since the beginning of time, and it's what's happening in this type of role. Like we've waited to see this match kind of take place. It's been building for about a month and a half, right? Like ever since the injury on SmackDown, and then all of a sudden, like he rewards him with a title match, and it's like
Right.
it was strange. Like why is this taking place, right? Like why
Kind of
is this
another nugget to that story that I kind of forgot. If you don't remember, Santos was supposed to have a United States Championship match against Austin Theory. He gets injured. He says, Rey, take my place. Rey takes his place and wins the title. And now Santos. So this is a breeding kind of resentment, kind of jealousy coming in here.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what it is. And look, Santos has put on some good matches, and he's starting to get some credibility, right? Um, and his style is a little different. Yeah, I told you before, like he's trying to do like the whole LWO thing, and like that chant like just not working, and like I don't think he's resonating with the crowd as well as he's trying. The effort is there, it's not hitting. Um, but yeah, I feel like this is probably going to go in the direction where the protege has a falling out with the mentor, and almost like in a Dom Mysterio type of way with Rey. And maybe we see Santos either go heel, because I don't think they'll ever do anything with Rey, right? He'll stay the same. He's always stayed pretty much the same.
Yeah, Rey won't. Yeah, definitely Rey will be. He's going to go off into the sunset a babyface. I'd imagine that would be a big turn, but I don't think it's necessary. And if Santos doesn't turn, like you said, it hasn't really been hitting him as a babyface. I don't know where he goes. So that it has to be something where he betrays Rey, that jealousy gets a hold of him, that anger, that I should be the champion. It's my time now. I've learned everything. Now I'm not the student anymore kind of story. And an interesting story that they just kind of dropped the kernels on. Like we didn't get that. It just looks like they did a good job of acting there. I thought that was a nice way done. Then the Street Profits, perfect timing, come in, smash them down, beat the hell out of them. Out walks Bobby Lashley. Like, there's my boys. That's what I wanted to see. I want to see that edge. I'm really looking forward to the Street Profits getting that kind of killer kind of. This faction we've talked about on the show before, that they have an ability and a chance to be a top faction. Their time, they could come in and do it all.
It's just taking. I don't know why it's taking so much time, right? Like, if we want, I would like to see these guys like constantly interrupting in matches, right? Coming out and just wrecking shop. Like if they're gonna have that edge, right, and that's the route that they're gonna go, we should see this like constantly, where Lashley's overseeing and he's just like, hey, let's take care of this problem. Like, let's keep on interrupting in matches, right? Tag teams, whatever it may be.
I love that. Say, hey, this is our time. We're gonna until you put us in these matches, we're gonna come and f everything up.
Right.
I like that idea.
And instead, they're giving us kind of these strange moments, like in matches where they're allowing, like they took a loss. I forget who was it, on Raw or it was on SmackDown like 2 weeks ago, where Lashley hits, was it Ray?
It was against Santos and Ray. It was a tag match, and that's why they attacked him this past week. But the week before, they had a match against him, and Lashley gave him an object to hit, or Lashley had laid him out and throw him back in the
with
ring.
The belt. Yeah.
And he's like, wait, what's going on here? Like, I wanted to win the right way. The pause, the hesitation cost him the match, and then But you know what? I don't think it's going too slow. I would like to see more action, like you're talking about this week. You can't just have it like this past week was. The week before was, here's the opportunity to be bad. Wait, I didn't know we were going to be bad. Then
my point,
accepting it. Okay, you know what? We're bad now, and they know now that we're going to do whatever it takes.
Well, my point is that, like, okay, we finally. It was like 1 week we got them. The first week we seen this, right? With them with Lashley, they get in the limo, right? Or was it?
Yeah.
And then the next week, they're
dressed better.
They're getting dressed.
Yeah.
They're getting fitted for clothes. Like, that's my point. It's like, all right, like you could have done all that stuff in one night. Like, we didn't have to, kind of stretch that out for 3 weeks. Okay.
It might be longer than 3 weeks, actually, Tim. Now that you mention it, it's probably been like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. So let's get to the nuts and bolts of. I know there's a part of it that is storytelling, but it's just a little bit slow for me. And like, I thought this was going to be a bigger faction, not just Lashley and the Street Profits. I thought it was going to be, more members. I thought it was just going to be like
Carmelo and Trick Williams or something like that.
And like, I talked about Omos before, right? Bringing him in like an MVP and all that stuff. So it doesn't look like it's heading that way, but I just need a little bit, like you said, more edge. No pun intended. I know that's the second time that we've done that, but more edge to it. And I want to speed it up. Let's get nasty, dude. Let's get nasty with these guys and put them on a little bit more of a pedestal and see where they can take it.
Right. And now's the time, this Friday and maybe even at the PLE this weekend, we need to see the Street Profits storyline. We need to be right into the Fastlane. Am I right? How's that? Was that a good pun? Let's go. Let's accelerate this now. We've laid the groundwork. They've decided that they're going to be bad guys with Bobby Lashley and do whatever it takes. Well, let's do it now. I would love it if this week they just start coming out and interrupting anything they want. Hey, we're gonna take over the show because we want a title match. We're the best in the biz right now, and I love that idea. All right, so at the end of the night, we've got Jimmy Uso, and it was supposed to be a contract signing going on. Cena had signed a contract. He still doesn't have a partner. Jimmy Uso solo. They're coming out there to attack John Cena. They attack him. And Timmy, what we knew was going to be happening last week, it didn't happen last week. This week it happens. The crowd erupts. Out comes LA Knight, accepting the the tag team being the mystery partner now, signing with John Cena. The crowd goes crazy. He's over. This match, I thought LA Knight looked great coming out here. I thought his moves that he put on hit hard. It looked like they laid him in, his finisher, everything. I was like, man, this guy looks like the superstar, the megastar that we've been loving for the last several months. Great pop. I will say, I gotta agree with the HJB. I think it should have been done last week. Now, maybe they were just like, hey, look, this is when we're going to have to do it because we have 3 weeks until the PLE, or 2 weeks, or 3 shows, whatever you want to call it. And it needs to happen next week. It can't happen this week. But I feel like the crowd was hotter the week prior and you would have gotten a better reaction. Still a great reaction. But with that week of social media and people, assuming that LA Knight was going to be the guy, it like people kind of knew. Still a great reaction, but they kind of knew. Where the week prior, it would have been a surprise and like, holy shit, this is awesome,
Yeah, the last week there was something missing at the end of that show. We speculated about like an injury or something that might have happened, but like there was just so much time left on last week's episode of SmackDown where we felt like LA Knight would have came out. And then we get it this week. To your point, dude, he's only getting better, right? And the growth is there. We talked about LA Knight when he first was put on this meteoric rise, and the fans wanted to see more and more of him. He got over, and we said, hey, listen, now the ball's in your court, dude. You need to deliver. Like, you can't just go out there and flop. And he's really has gotten better and better since the story with Miz. And now after, he completed that story, he's moving on now. And now he's wrapped up in the bloodline with John Cena. He's getting put with a lot of A-listers here, Cena has come back and, he's had a role in certain matches. It's really cool to see that he's now, in those main events, and who knows where this goes with maybe Roman Reigns, or maybe he starts a little feud with the bloodline now. But it's, he's had his time with Paul Heyman. Now he's in this match with the bloodline, and it's going to be interesting to see. And I just saw a little nugget that Paul Heyman is supposed to be in Braun Breaker's corner.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. You just said that. Man, you throw him in with the bloodline, you kind of form a new faction here, and you replace Jey Uso with Braun Breaker, dude.
And then so now you're looking at if this does turn into a feud and it's all coming together, I can see LA Knight Braun Breaker more than LA Knight Roman Reigns, right? I can see how that can manifest, and I can see how these two can collide, right? I don't see the Roman Reigns thing. I don't think he's there yet, but it'll be interesting to see where they go with this whole Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns thing.
Yeah. So very exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens this Friday on SmackDown, and then Fastlane this weekend with LA Knight, and hopefully just his rise. But I agree with you, Timmy. As much as popular as he is, as entertaining as he's been for us, I just don't think he can be the guy to go take down a Roman Reigns, in the near future. He kind of just it needs it to somehow go to another level for that to happen, But I would love to see him in a Braun Breaker, even if he starts with his ascension of maybe feuding with Solo and taking him out, or Jimmy or whatever, just to kind of, if he's building to that Roman, but take out, these other guys too, and be involved with the bloodline as a foe for them. So let's cut to Monday Night Raw. And Raw starts, Timmy, I loved the way they started Raw. We start with chaos, a melee. It's just happening. The show starts and there's fights going on in the ring. There's no announcement. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? And you got Nia Jax and she's fighting, and all these two women are going at it. And next thing you know, Mommy's music hits, the crowd erupts, She comes out, she clears house, beats ass, stands in the ring tall. The whole place chanting, "Mommy, mommy." I mean, Rhea Ripley is the most over women's wrestler in the world right now. Incredible. I love her. I'm excited. Like when she's on the TV, I tune in, and to her credit, there hasn't been a ton of female wrestlers for me personally that it's like must see for me. And Rhea Ripley has done it right there, and I love her, dude. I love Rhea Ripley, and I love the way Monday Night Raw started with this chaos. And I I think that would be a great thing for them to do on SmackDown this week. If it started with chaos, the Street Profits are just beating people down in the ring, and you're like, "What the hell's going on?" That would be a
Yeah.
good way for them to start.
If you notice too at the at the end of that scrum, in the beginning of Raw, I think mommy did her finishing move to one of the male referees that was in trying to break it up. It's like, whoa, dude. But yeah, it was chaos to start it out. It was cool to see. I thought we might be getting a little, introduction to Miss Jade Cargill that in that whole process, but then I'm like, you know what? No, they're probably going to build that up and have some sort of like, just her solo intro, right? Like I think that's what we're going to get from her, not some run in or anything like that.
Yeah, and I don't think Jade Cargill. I would say that Jade Cargill should be on SmackDown, and I would like her to interrupt Io Sky because nobody's buying into Io Sky right now. Nobody cares. I shouldn't say nobody cares. I don't. And to have her in the next couple weeks come out with Damage Control and kind of talk some trash, and then next thing you know, one day she's out there talking trash, and here comes Jade Cargill, and it's like, whoa. And then you can have Jade take it right there and be the face of the SmackDown division, and she would be over. The place would go crazy, I believe, because she has the look, dude. Dominic Mysterio lost his title. Mommy calls out Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio. Finn Balor's not in town tonight. She's saying what's going on with the titles, blah, blah, blah. She threatens Damian. She threatens Dom. She says, Dom, you have a rematch. If you don't win that title, you don't bother coming home. So I was going to say this idea has been floating around in my head, and it might not happen for another year or whatever. But Dominic Mysterio is already a major, major heel, right? If you want to send him into outer space as the biggest heel ever, like heat on top of this heat, you have him betray mommy and cost her the title in a way where he decides to go with some other chick that she's fighting, and he says, I'm done with you. Like, dude, he would be so hated because mommy's so over. And if he were to betray her, like, it would be an all-time moment. And something that's never been done with WWE, where it's like a female champion is being screwed over by a male.
Yeah, no, I understand the idea. But there's so many chips that would have to like follow that, because that's essentially the end of Judgment Day, right? Because I mean, if that happens soon, I mean that'd be an interesting route that it takes, because I mean we're getting some dissension again from Priest, right? With this whole thing, and it was a strange interaction, right? With her and Priest, and Priest is bothering me, man. He really is, and I just can't see him. I know he's walking around with this Money in the Bank thing, and it just feels really like, yeah. Like, I just don't like it, and I can't see him as a champion. Really, I can't see him as a world champion. I like, hey, throw the Intercontinental title on him, or the U.S. title, maybe, but I just don't see him representing that world heavyweight title if that's the route that they're going to go. And I mean, that's going to lead us into Shinsuke and Seth, but he doesn't have that feel to me. I mean, he's terrible on the mic. He just doesn't carry it all that well.
Yeah, I want to go into Seth Shinsuke right now. So the match is set up for Judgment Day versus Cody and Jay for the tag team championships. And I'm really looking forward to that match. We've been seeing a lot of that over the last couple weeks, and it's kind of like, we've gotten into the okay, here we go again kind of thing with that. So I am looking forward to that match and seeing where they're going with that. I don't think Cody and Jay win those titles, but I think it'll be a very entertaining match, and we'll see what happens. But the big match in the build is Seth versus Shinsuke Nakamura, last man standing WWE Heavyweight Championship match. I've been liking what Shinsuke's been doing, this kind of character and stuff like this. I don't think it's very sustainable. I don't think he can be the world heavyweight champion for a long time. I mean, the language barrier and stuff like that. I don't know if he can do that. It would be interesting to see. But is this where Damian Priest cashes in a last man standing match? And like you said before, I don't really want him to win the championship. I don't feel like he's heavyweight champion material. I mean, I hate to
So
say that.
has anyone ever cashed in and lost?
Yes.
And then they're done with the briefcase, right? Because
Yeah.
I think I kind of want that to happen. It's just terrible. Um, yeah, just to touch on your Shinsuke Seth Rollins stuff, I like how the build is going for this one. Like it kind of felt like it was thrown together during the first PLE with them two, and the build now. I mean, we talked about like the different types of things that they're doing with Shinsuke to help overcome that language barrier. With the subtitles and stuff like that, but like Shinsuke's character is kind of going in a different direction too, where he's coming out in different garb, right? And like
Right.
they're doing stuff like last week he had a video interruption on the Titantron, and Seth's like watching this video, and then Shinsuke as it's playing comes out and attacks Seth. And I mean attacks Seth like in the way that we talk about, like about how it's aggressive, it's ruthless, right? Um with the chair shots and all that stuff. It's like, hey, we're attacking his back and we're making it's gonna be a problem, right? And it all signs are pointing to, I believe, Shinsuke possibly winning the title here. But like to your point, this last man standing match has everything written all over it that it's going to be a cash in type of deal where these two are going to be on the ground beaten up right to a pulp, and Priest comes in and cashes in at the right time.
Yeah. And that's definitely something we're going to be looking at. And something that just popped in my head, and maybe we'll get into this later, but yeah, that seems like it sets up for an opportunity. I've kind of liked where this Shinsuke character has been going. It's different, you know what I mean? It's not like the normal thing. And maybe he could be built as a champion to kind of chase, a bad guy when the fans get behind that song. It's a cool entrance. What they need to do is have a great match. I mean, they need to put this last man standing match, if it's just going to go where the winner of this is that this is Shinsuke's opportunity. If this isn't a great match, then I'm afraid that his character and where he's going to go from here is nowhere. I feel like he'll be done. So this match needs to be a banger. This needs to be one that people are talking about like, wow, dude, that was an incredible match. So let's get right to the Gunther Ciampa segment on a thing. Speaking of great matches, Gunther and Ciampa had the contract signing set up, and Gunther every week is incredible. I think we talked about it in the group text this week. I think this guy's the best wrestler in the world right now. And everything he does, and it's not just the in-ring stuff, his character, coming out dressed to the nines in that suit, looking like a superstar, acting like a superstar, calling out Ciampa for the way he looks like, that's all I need to know about you. Look at how you're dressed for for match. This is the most important title in the world, and you're over there in a cut off t-shirt, this and that. And I'm I was like, dude, I love the character. I love his matches. They eventually get into an argument, which leads to a championship match that night. The hardest working man in professional wrestling, Adam Pearce, books it. And Timmy, another incredible match. You know, when you're going into a match with Gunther, that it's going to be laying it in. You're going to be hitting the HJB mentioned in the group chat. Like, this guy doesn't have a ton of moves, but he just, it's incredible. Power slams, boots, clotheslines, different types of, like, it's not like rocket science. This guy isn't doing something that, but he just does it so well and tells a story. Another incredible match. Gunther, I can't say enough good things about him. He's one of the best champions I've seen ever in a long time.
Yeah, he's physically imposing. He has the same type of stature that like the Undertaker had. He's very imposing. Like the Undertaker had a certain amount of moves too. He very limited repertoire. He walked the ropes and stuff like that, but like it's all power stuff, right? Like it's all power stuff. And he moves well. He's the best right now, and he's the bar. He's setting the bar, and there's others that are in the industry that should follow his lead, because this guy, he seems to really put everything into his matches. Like it's not, he doesn't take a day off, right? It's like when he's in that ring, it's like it's go time, man. Like, and to your point, there hasn't been a match where I've said, man, that match kind of sucked. It doesn't matter who's in the ring with him. It's from Chad Gable to Ciampa to Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, like anyone that's been in the ring with him. Like they're all really top-notch matches. And I'm
Mustafa Ali was a good match. You know what I mean? Like it didn't matter.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to watch it. And it's a testament to him, because he like I said, in wrestling, you need both guys to dance, and he's the best partner right now in the ring. So,
yeah, and not just in the ring, and his character development's been great, and I love the way he carries them, and just his kind of overall, like the psychology of his character is just great. I think it's so good, and his matches are incredible. And this guy is a future world heavyweight champion. All right. So at some point, he will be losing the Intercontinental Championship. And this is the idea that kind of popped into my head, Timmy. We both said that Damian Priest, to me, doesn't seem like a world heavyweight champion, to put the belt on him and have him walk around for a while. But
it just doesn't seem sustainable.
An Intercontinental champion, possibly. So what happens if Chad Gable gets that rematch? He goes and he fights him, and he finds a way, and he beats Gunther out, and he's laid out, and now Imperium comes in and lays him out, and this is, whatever, all hell breaks loose. Out comes Damian Priest with the contract, cash in, pin Chad Gable, takes the Intercontinental Championship away from him, and now Gable versus Damian Priest is the build in a match to Gable trying to get it from Damian Priest. I feel like that would suit it better, and you take the belt off Gunther and then put him right into that championship match next. He's not going for the Intercontinental title anymore. He wants the heavyweight championship. I mean, he's WrestleMania main event heavyweight champion material, and I think that's his next move, that you got to get the belt off of him at some point soon, and you build him to a match at WrestleMania for the title, or he wins it prior to that and he's defending at Mania.
Yeah, I got no clue where, when, or who they're going to have Gunther lose to, because it's just hard. It's hard to imagine him losing to anybody at this point, because he's so good. I mean, I find it interesting that they decided to bring back Gargano during that match.
Oh, too. Yeah, right.
Because it's he's such a non-factor to me. It's like, why is his involvement deserve that attention when you have one of the best in the business, in ring? Like, I don't understand. Maybe because he's the best. and they're trying to do something. Maybe they're trying to push Gargano somehow, some way. Didn't get it. But yeah, to go back to your plans for, yeah, there's a whole lot of moving parts with your theory right there. But
Yeah, I know.
I
I just booked
just
the next 6 months
yeah,
again.
yeah. Um, I would love to see Rollins vacate the title, and I would love to see it kind of change hands for a little bit. I'd like to see that kind of. I want the World Heavyweight Championship. I know it means something, but it's also the secondary belt, right? It's like, hey, you got your Universal Championship that Roman Reigns has, and then you have the World Heavyweight title, which I think can go back and forth now. I think it can exchange hands a handful of times like it used to back in the day, right? Like where it was like The Rock, and then it was Austin, then it was Mankind, then it was Undertaker. And like I think you have enough competitors there that you're able to do that. And yeah, whenever Gunther loses that title, yeah, you don't have somebody that's been in place for over a year or 8 months or something like that, and Gunther can then step into that world title heavyweight picture. Because I mean, he's on par with Seth Rollins. Like he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like he's his star is as big, if not bigger than Seth Rollins. Why wouldn't he not be in that conversation?
Well, Tim, I think, to the real fan, I think Gunther is the best in the world right now. In the world, like, is there match wise, character wise, it's all just fitting. It's just like, it's perfect, dude. His matches are all great. It doesn't matter if it's a house show, a Monday Night Raw, or a PLE. He puts on a banger every single time. Doesn't matter who his opponent is. And the character development has been top notch. I mean, I'm watching this guy in the ring for the contract signing, and I'm like, dude, this guy is a star. He's a star. And I think you got to. The tough part is when you put the heavyweight championship belt on him. I mean, you can't imagine him losing it for a long time. So every match that he goes, it's like, well, he ain't losing. He's not going to lose now. Like it's going to be a year until he really is going to lose. If he does.
Yeah.
So maybe they just keep the IC belt on him for the foreseeable future, and he doesn't lose it in the next. Maybe he still has it at Mania and just crushes the record. I don't know. But going back to, I want to give Ciampa some credit too. Kudos to him. A great match. He was banger. I even liked his promos when they were doing the contract signing when he said, I'm being fed roadkill and told to make it into filet every week, and I have to do it just to get a chance. And that's kind of true. And I think that they, guys like him and a Gargano and like other wrestlers, just they don't get the opportunities, and they have to make their own opportunity. And it's hard to do when you don't get the time, but there's only so much time. But Ciampa, a great match. Gargano, I think this was a fail by WWE. They bring him out, and I think they were expecting maybe more. They thought probably the DIY tag team might have had more of a cachet, if you will. Like the people would be like super excited to see it. And Gargano came out to like a mild, like, oh, okay, like the music hit. And I imagine majority of the people are like, who is this? Like who's coming out, not knowing that it was Gargano, right?
Well, that's
And
what I was one of them.
yeah, right, exactly. And so he comes out that they missed the timing on it because you didn't get to see them hit their finishing move, the DIY finishing move. The time cut out, so there was a little flub on that, but the crowd wasn't great on it. DIY will be an exciting team to watch and probably be put right into that top tag team category shortly. So I'm looking forward to that. Timmy, a wrestler right now that I want to give a shout out to. I don't love his character, but in the ring, this guy's been impressing me the last month, maybe 2 months. From the Viking Raiders, Ivar. I like in ring what he does. He's hard hitting. He does some moves. A big guy, athletic, does different things. A moonsault off the top this past week on top of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, I thought was really impressive. And that whole match with Xavier Woods, and credit to Xavier Woods too, an impressive match for them to have on Raw, and an overall exciting show. Timmy, what have you been thinking about Ivar? Have you noticed kind of him being someone that is like, wow, this guy's a little more talented than maybe we have given credit?
Yeah. I mean, the Viking Raiders have been, it's been weird. They keep on getting like semi pushes, right? Like they get thrusted into like these matches and then all of a sudden they disappear. And then I believe Eric is the other guy is
Yeah,
injured,
yeah,
which is why we're seeing a little bit of Ivar
being
with
showcased.
being
Yeah,
showcased. And it's going well for him. Uh, but they're most of the matches are really like tag team partners, like one offs, right? So they're just it's I don't know. I like how he's being showcased. That they didn't just shelf him, right? Like just say, hey, listen, like Eric's hurt. Yeah, we got no time for you. But like if they're gonna continue to push the Viking Raiders or just Ivar and himself, maybe this is a time where he separates and goes on his own. And I mean, because he can handle himself as a singles competitor. You can see that in his matches. He's for a big of a guy as he is quite the athlete, and he's pulling off some moves that are really impressive. They're eye opening for me, and I'm like, dude, this guy's a lot better than what like his tag team capabilities are. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And I've really enjoyed his matches, so that's why we wanted to kind of spotlight him as someone that if you haven't been paying attention has quietly put on his character. The character though, I mean, the Viking Raiders is just it's almost like to that old WWE before the Attitude Era where they have these characters that Duke the Dumpster Drosy or something like that, where it's like, come
The
on, give this
headbangers.
yeah, give this guy hey, whoa, don't you dare. All right, Timmy. So this weekend, and this will be our we'll just do a quick review of what's going on at Fastlane. We're gonna have John Cena and LA Knight versus the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. We got the World Heavyweight Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. WWE Women's Championship match, Io Sky versus Asuka versus
Ooh,
Charlotte Flair.
ooh.
The Undisputed Tag Team Championship match, Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And the LWO with Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, or Cruz del Toro versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Really excited for this women's Io Sky Asuka Charlotte Flair match. That's one I've circled, Timmy. Maybe we'll get Jade Cargill showing up then. That might be something.
Maybe. Yeah,
Uh,
at the PLE, that'd be nice.
but overall, it looks like an entertaining card. It won't be one of these long pay-per-views, so I think it'll be like a 3 hour, nice hard hitting. My big circle right now is going to be the Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura match. Can they deliver? They need to deliver right now for Shinsuke to be able to be catapulted and stay at this main event level. And will Damian Priest cash in? So that's the one I'm circling right now. What do you have one that you're particularly circling or?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a perfect exit strategy for Seth Rollins. I mean, he's been at it for quite some time. I feel like this match happens, the last man standing. He takes so much punishment that he's going to be out with a back injury after this, and you might see Seth Rollins lose the title to take some time off from WWE TV. That's my opinion. I'll actually I'll take that. I'll put money in the bank
Ooh. Wait,
like
no, this
that.
isn't Money in the Bank. This is Fastlane coming up.
No, no, I'm
The Money in the
saying,
Bank cash in and cash it
yeah,
in.
yes, yeah.
Well, I
Um,
kind of like your idea of the tournament. Like maybe Seth finds a way to win, but has to be carried out. Well, then why wouldn't Damian Priest cash in then? But
well, that's what I'm saying. I think
on
he loses.
Raw, cash in or come in like I have to I've been injured. I have to relinquish the title, like give him that babyface moment. He gets a couple months off going into the pay-per-view and have that tournament. And that would be interesting. I would love that. We'll see.
I'm not saying that he loses the title, like he has to relinquish the title because of the injury. I'm thinking that he loses as he loses the Shinsuke, then They cash in. Priest cashes in, wins the title, and that's when you see Seth because his back's so beat up that he needs time off or whatever. Like that's the way I'm seeing it.
Okay, how about this? You ready?
Oh,
Dude,
God.
this is it, and then I will hang it up, okay? You got the tag team championship matches, right? You got Damian Priest and Finn Balor, say they lose the titles, okay? Damian Priest has the Money in the Bank. Shinsuke Nakamura, Seth Rollins, they have their match, lays him out. Shinsuke wins, but he's laid out. Out comes Damian Priest to cash in his Money in the Bank. He comes to cash it in. Next thing you know, he's attacked by the Judgment Day, beat down. Shinsuke pins him. Shinsuke, new member to the Judgment Day. Damian Priest out. And now it's the champion Shinsuke with the Judgment Day. What do you think? Because that helps him because he can have mommy talk for him. He can have everyone else talk. And Shinsuke is now the
not bad.
leader. Okay, we'll
That's not
see.
bad. Not
Thank
bad.
you. All right, so we've got a big PLE this weekend. Timmy, another great show. We really appreciate everyone that's out there that's listening to us and enjoying the content that we're putting out weekly of Jabroni Drive. We're going to be covering Fastlane and SmackDown and Raw next week. We hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the PLE. Enjoy your weekend. Timmy, anything you want to say to all the Schmidt Lavellites out there before we sign off?
No.
So you're going to give us the old Captain Hook on Jabroni Drive instead of Schmidt and Lavelle?
Oh, is that what I did? I mixed up the shows. Smee. What about Smee?
Well, for Mr. Timothy Schmidt, my name is Tom Lavelle. This has been another episode of Jabroni Drive. As we said, have a great weekend. God bless you. God bless America. Jabroni Drive, new episodes every week, available on all podcast platforms and YouTube. We love you. Till next week.